Strings pro.
Yes.
Strings using
Okay. And we saw if-else statements, right? So we were into conditional statements and we saw if-else statements. So after if-else statements, what are the major statements you see in your programming languages?
while, do while.
While, do while, and if it
For loop.
yes, for loops. So the and finally we'll be having break and continue statements. So let's see all those stuffs today. So firstly, we will go through for loops. Okay. So please do open the online compilers. Are you people able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think sorry, there was some issue with respect to my internet. Are you people able to see my screen now? I think my screen is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
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 Yes. Okay. So we were talking about for loops. So when we basically go for loops, let's go with the basic syntax. So you know this very well. We'll be having three things over here. If you have seen in your C programming, I'll be having something like I is equal to something, I greater than or lesser than to something, and I plus plus or I minus minus. You would have seen these kind of syntax or programming previously. So let us understand what are those things. So firstly, the first expression what we will be having is known as initialization expression. And nextly, we will be having a condition. And lastly, we will be having an update expression. So let me just give you a small example for this so that you'll understand. So let me take some term as I, wherein I give I is equal to 0. I think you can relate it now. So this was the example I was talking about, wherein you have seen this in your C programming as well. And you'll be having three conditions over here in your for loop. So that is known as the first expression is known as the initialization expression. The second is known as the condition. And the third is the update expression. So initialization means basically assigning something to a number. So here, initially we are giving a number or a memory to a particular variable. So here I am giving I is equal to 0 in the first condition, which is known as initialization, and I am giving a condition. So what is my condition here? If I is less than or equal to 5, then things will move on, else the things will be terminating there only. And lastly, I'll be having an update expression wherein if I want to increment or decrement my I value, I'll be going ahead with that. So this is the basic thing what you used in your C++, in your for loops. So after this, you'll be having a code block, which is the body. Understood this? So initially in your for loop, you'll be having three conditions. That is your initialization expression, condition, and an update expression. Accordingly, you'll be working. So for a particular condition, what happens is, if these conditions are satisfied, then it will move to the body, and what are all the codes inside the body of the loop, those things will be executed. So let me show you a flow chart. So this is visible, right, for you?
Yes, ma'am.
So initially, see, I told you there is a initial expression, and later I'm having a test condition. If in case the test condition is true, then what happens? The body of the loop is executed, and later it will go to the updating expression. And again, if all these things goes fine, again it will go to the test condition until the update test condition fails. If the test condition fails in the initial stage only, then what happens? We'll have a loop termination. Understood? So this is the flow chart which is to be followed. So please note down this flow chart in your book. So this will help you understanding while solving things. Just let me know once you are done with this. Finish. Don't take down this loop, just take down this flow chart. Finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So when we come to the for loop, we will be having basically three, take down this also for initialization expression, condition, and update expression. So we'll be having three types of for loops. The first one is finite. The second one is infinite. And the third one is nested. So as I showed you already in this flow chart, so here what is happening? I'm having a loop and a test condition. Once the test condition is satisfied, the loop will be terminating. So let me take an example over here. I have given I is less than or equal to 5. So is 5 a finite number of iteration? That is, I can count the number of iteration. That is, the loop is running for the 5 times, and later what is happening is the loop is terminating. For example, if I give something called n over here. So what does n stands for? So in number line, if I go from 1 to n, n is infinite. So here what happens? The loop doesn't terminate and it runs n number of times. So that kind of loop is known as infinite loops, wherein the loop never terminates. That is, this process will not be there only. The test condition never goes false and the loop never terminates. So I'll not be having this condition. The test condition will be true every time and the loops goes on running. And thus that kind of looping is known as infinite looping in your for loops. And nested is if you have more than two for loops in a particular code, then I'll be calling it as a nested for loop. So basically we'll be having three types of for loops. The first one is the finite, wherein you can count the number of iteration, and the termination, the condition will go false and the termination happens. The second one is the infinite, wherein there is no termination of the code and every time the condition is true and the loop keeps on running. And lastly, I'll be having nested for loops, wherein I'll be having more than one for loop in a particular code. Did you people understand this much?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, let me take an example and try to display a few things. So I'll be taking a condition wherein I have a for loop and I'll be taking this as something fine. I want to display the output wherein my cout is I. And I want everything in a new line. And so what is the output what I get here if I run this code?
Numbers from 0 to 10.
Numbers from 0 to 10. So I'll be getting from 0 to. This is the basic for loops what you use. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So please go ahead with your online compiler, and I don't want 1 to 10. I want something where 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. I want only the odd numbers to be displayed. So what you do?
Odd numbers, ma'am.
Yes. I want odd numbers to be displayed in one condition, and in second condition, I want even numbers to be displayed. A very simple one to go with. So paste your code in the chat box. In one condition, I want only 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and in another condition, I want only 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Just by using only this much, like I don't want you to use any other conditions, just by using these three, initialization condition and the update expression, I want that output. Yes, Inchara got it right, wherein you initialize I for 1 and till 10 and I is equal to I plus 2. So I'll be getting odd numbers. In the same way, if I initialize it to 0, yes, I'll be getting even numbers. That is as simple as that. Understood, everyone? Let me show this here. Anyone else who did apart from Inchira? So here I got 13597 because the numbers are starting from 1 and going up to 10. But what is happening is I is I plus 2. So I'm getting plus 2. So in the same way, if I initialize this to 0 and give I plus 2, I'll be getting the set of odd numbers. That is even numbers. That is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. I think this much is clear with you people, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's do the programs in the last, and I want to teach you another concept before going to other stuffs. That is array. So, do you people know what is array?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Okay, what is array?
it stores
Collection of data elements with all of same name and same type.
Collection of data,
data types.
Elements
Same.
with all of same name and same type.
same name and same type. What do you mean by same type here?
Same data type, ma'am.
Same data type. So, array.
Arranged in one dimensional or two dimensional with same data type.
Okay, so whether it's a one-dimensional or two-dimensional, we'll be having the same data type. So basically, array are used to store multiple values in a single variable. So we are storing multiple values with a single variable where each and everything will be having a different assigned value. So let me take an example. For example, I'm having an integer which is known as number. And within this number, I'm having 4 values. So what am I doing? I'm having an integer which is called as number, but this number is an array of 4 values. That is, it is holding 4 values. So how do I assign the value? That is using the flower brackets. I can tell it is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now if I want to print number 3, what should I give? Does this work? So I'm having an array which is known as number, and I'm trying to hold 4 values within it. And next what is happening is I'm assigning the value 1, 2, 3, 4 to the particular 4 values, and I'm printing out the number 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that would be 4. Did you people get this?
Yes,
So it
ma'am.
is same of the string what we were doing yesterday or day before yesterday. So in string, I also taught you one more thing, that is the replacement. If you remember, I told you can make fox as box. Do you people remember that? Making fox into box,
Yes, ma'am.
changing a single letter. So in the same way, you can also do the same thing over here. For example, I have the 3 number wherein I don't want it to be 4 and I want it to be something like 56. And now if I try to run this, so it is 56. So replacement or assignment is possible in arrays. So firstly, you can store different values in a single element. You can have multiple values, and also assignment operation is possible in the arrays. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear on these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now take an array of maybe 5 names of what you like and replace fifth name. So here it was integer. So if you want to take names, what are you supposed to take?
int name.
It was easy for
Name
me.
of string.
Yes, exactly. Take up string and replace it. Replace any one value of the string.
Str of name. String of name.
Yes. Done. A easy one to go. Finish. Okay, this is right. Did everyone get the answer? You can check your chat box for the proper program. So moving on.
Ma'am, it's not
So I've
running in int main, ma'am. Even if I'm taking word, it's some errors.
yes, you weren't audible. Who spoke?
Ma'am, I have replaced,
Hello.
I have pasted int itself, ma'am. I didn't change the data type. Int main.
Yeah, you should. Hmm. So in that condition, what can you do? So you can add a just add this and run. Include strings and then try running this. Then it will run in int main itself. Did you get the output?
Yes, ma'am.
Include this statement in your program. So I'm including strings wherein there will be no issues with respect to running the particular program. Okay. Shall we move on? Did you get the output? Okay. So in next condition, we are having two things, that is while loop and another one is your do while loop. So the first one is your while loop and the second one is your do while loop. There is a minor difference between your while loop and do while loop. Not much of difference I could say. So basically in while loop what happens is I'll be having while and later I'll be having a condition and I'll be having the body. So this is what happens in your while loop. So basically I'll be having a condition and I'll be having the body after the condition. So if the condition is executed, then automatically the code which is present in your body of the program will be executed. So simple as that, nothing to worry about. So next we'll be coming to what? Do while. So what is the difference that you have between your while and your do while is in do you'll be having the statement first to go with. So here you'll be having the body and later after this you'll be having while condition. So basically what's happening over here is, so irrespective of whether the condition is true or not, so whatever the code which is present within the body after the do will be executed. So understanding? So here I'll be having a condition. If the condition is true, then only the body will be executed. But here what is happening? I'm telling it to do something. So first, so it's something like your teacher tells you to do the assignment and later take your test. And if you pass or fail in the test is later considered. So in the same way, I'm telling you to first do the assignment and later you'll be coming into a condition wherein if it is accordingly, if it is true or false, later the body will be executed. Understood this? So let us take a simple example for our while statement. Very simple, I would say. So initially I'll take an integer where I is equal to 0 and later I'll tell while if I is less than 5, then I want to get the output, that is C out. And later what I'll do, I'll try to increment I. So what I got, it is 1 to 4. Understood? So if I give it as equal, then what happens? I'll be getting even the 5. So I'll be getting, along with that, I'll be getting 5 also. So did you people understand this? So
Yes,
let's see a do while condition. Yes. So let's see a do while condition. So initially what I'll do, I'll initiate I'll take an integer and later I'll be getting a okay. So as I have shown here, I'll be having a do keyword and later I'll try to print the C out. And I'll try to increment it. Later, I'll be taking the condition wherein while I is less than or equal to. So again, here also I'll be getting the same output. So no difference. And one major thing you can remember is, so what you can do in your if else, you can do in your for loops you can do in your do while, and also using your break and continuous statements, which break continuous. So using all the four parameter, you can write the same program. So the only difference what you'll be having is some difference with respect to syntax. So that's the only difference what you'll be having. Else you can write the whole of the program what you have, whole of the code using all the different syntax that you can remember. So let me just show you this while condition. So what's happening in my do while? The do while loop start. So execution of the body, then the condition will be tested. If the condition is true, again it will go back to the same loop executing the same thing. If it is false, then it ends up. So this is your do while. And coming to your while, you'll be having the condition code and the condition. So if the condition is true, again it will go back to the condition. And if not, it will end the while loop. So very simple. So in do, it is the same thing. Has your for, but what happens is you'll be having three conditions over here. You'll be having a single condition over here. So you'll be having the condition. If it is true, it loops back, or if it is false, it will end. But in do while, what happens? The execution of the loop will happen, and later the test condition will be tested. If it is true, again the body of the loop, the body will be executed. Else, if it is false, the loop will end. So you should know the difference, how different loops are working here. So just take down the flowchart for both the things. You take down this later and scroll. Done with this? Shall I scroll it up? Don't take down this, take down this. Finish?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next, after let's finish off all the flowcharts and the syntax ones for all, and later we can go with the programming. So the next statement what we are having is your break and continue. You are having break and continue statement. So basically, why do you use this both break and continue statement? So what, like, let's understand in the what very basic things. Like as I already told you, coding is fun. Just you're putting what you tell in your words into code using certain syntax. That's it. So when we come to break and continue, what do you mean by break? So break means you're stopping something, right? So you're stopping something. If you have a straight line, you're just breaking it means you're stopping that there only. Continue means you're you're moving ahead with the things. It is as simple as that. So when you're breaking a statement, so let me take an example. You have a execution of code X, Y, and Z, and after X, Y, and Z, I'm having A, B, C. But the thing is, I don't want to continue with ABC. What I want to do, I want to just finish off things at XYZ only. Then what I do, I use this break statement. So what happens? Nothing after that will be executed. In the same way, for example, let me take I has Harshita. I want things to be breakdown at XYZ only, and I don't want it to go to ABC. So someone there in the crowd want to move with ABC. So then what I'll do, I'll use continue. So then what happens is after the execution of XYZ with a certain condition, I'll be having the execution of code ABC also. This is as simple as that. Break means you're breaking a certain part of the code. Continue means you're just moving ahead with the flow and going with the next part of the code. So let me give a very simple example for all these things. So I had this for loop, right? I'm not doing anything, I'm just commenting it out. I'm taking a for loop wherein this is for, so let me take it as I plus this. And so for a block of code to continue or break, what do you want? Like, can I just write this for loop and just break the statement like that only, or continue the statement like that only? I want something, right? So what is that? It is condition what I require in between. So I want to test a particular condition. So according to that condition, I'll be deciding whether to break the statement or continue with the statement. This is the basic thing. So what condition I'll give here? So if I'm having I till 10, right? So I don't like the number 7. So if I is equal to 7, then I'm telling break it. Next, come out of this particular loop and try to print your output. So what will be my answer over here? So I have displaying of 10 numbers wherein I have from 1 to 10. But what is happening is I don't like the number 7. So I'm trying, if I is equal to 7, I'm trying to break it in. So my question here is, so from 1 to 10, till how many numbers will I get in the numbers on the output? In my output, till which number I'll be getting the number?
0 to 6.
0 to 6. So I'll not be getting anything after 7. Exactly. So I'm breaking it at number 7. So I'll not be getting anything after 7. So let me just not break it and I'll say continue. So what will be my output over here?
0 to
It
10.
is 0. Okay. So is it including 7 or excluding 7? So will I get the number 7 in the output
Including
or will I not get
including.
including? Okay. Huh? Do I have 7? No, it is excluding 7. Why? Because, so I have given the condition if I is equal to 7. So the loop is stopping there at 7 and continuing after 7. So the loop is executed till 6. Then it is having a condition. So what happens? It is checking for the condition at number 7 and no execution is happening at 7. And after 7, it is continuing. So I will be getting 6 and 8 but not 7. Please remember this. When you have a condition like this, You will not be getting the 7 as your output. Understood? Please make a note of this program and also the output of the program. Finish. Just make a note of this, highlight this, and also write the output and highlight 6 and 8 so that you'll remember next time when you just look at it. Done?
Mom.
So just let's look at how this works. So you'll be having a test condition. So if you have a break statement, then yes, it will exit the loop. Or else if you're having the remaining part after the break, it will go again back to the expression and it will test. If it is false in the first thing only, directly it will exit the loop. In the same way, in continue, what happens? If it is continued, it is executing the remaining part of the body, and later, if it is false, it comes out. Very simple. So just make a note down of these two also. Shall I just scroll it? Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So anyone have any doubt with respect to these things?
No doubts, ma'am.
No doubts? Okay, that's great. So let's move to some programming part right now. Just open your compiler. I'll just take the program statement and you try to solve them. Okay. So in my first program statement, I want you to you write a program wherein the output is first 10 natural numbers using for loops. So my output should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you should use for loops. So the output should be first and natural number. I don't want 0. I want it from 1. 1 to 10. Everyone try it out. If you don't practice, you'll never learn programming. If I just go
I pasted in
on
chat box,
theory,
ma'am.
yes. Okay, exactly. So it is as simple as that. Everyone, everyone done with it? Okay. Who have finished can move ahead with the second program, wherein I want the sum of the same first and natural numbers using for loop only. So who haven't done the first one, do the first one first, and later we can move to the second one. Who has done the first one can move with the second one. So I want the sum of first and natural numbers. Anyone who is not understanding and want me to do the same program can ask me. So the first one, what we did was very simple as this, what we did, we just increment on things and display. That's it.
Ma'am, I have pasted in chat box, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Okay, do one thing. Take a user input and make the alteration for the same program wherein you take C in from the user and get the output till that number. If it is 9, you should get the sum of 9 numbers. If it is 7, you should get the sum of 7 numbers, like that. Within 10, any user can enter any number, wherein if it is 7, I'll get the sum of 7 numbers. If it is 10, I'll get the sum of 10 numbers. No one else is doing except her. Guys, try it out, and if you have any problem, you can just let me know. So you need to just add two things over here. You need to add C in, that is the user input which is taken, and assign a certain value to that and put it as n. Exactly. So she got it right. So initially what we are doing, we'll have the sum which is initialized to 0. So why do we initialize the sum every time to 0? Because the memory will be having a cache value wherein there are chances your output is not proper. So if it has some XYZ value, it will add the previous number to the value. So we'll be having, we will be initializing it to 0, and I'm taking an integer which is named as n, and that is the n which is given by the user. So I'll initialize it to 1, and the condition will be till n and I plus plus. Is that clear? So next I told you I'll be having nested for loops. So what do you mean by nested for loops? If I'm having more than one condition over there, that is if I'm using more than one for loop, then it is known as nested for loop. So for example, I have two conditions to be satisfied wherein I take I and j. So I want a for loop wherein I test all the three conditions, that is initialization, my condition, and the increment. But even after this, what happens? I'll be having a certain block of code, or let me take it as C out, which is printed. And later what happens? Even after this, I want a second code to be run. So what I do in that condition, so I'll be including another for loop within this for loop. So I'll just display this, and I'll be having another for loop with all the three conditions, that is initialization, your condition, and the increment. And later I'll move ahead with whatever the condition I want inside that for loop. Let me call it as for. So this is the condition wherein I'm using two for loops in order to get a particular output. Then it is known as nested for loops. Understood? And while also writing the program, the one thing you should take care of is parenthesis, that is your brackets. So here I'm having the opening and closing of bracket, opening and closing of the bracket, which need to be taken care the most. Else what happens is you'll get error. So moving ahead, using these kind of nested loop, I want you to print the output wherein if the input, so you are taking a certain size, let me consider it as size. You are taking a user defined input size which is given by the user. It can be any number for that matter. If the size is 2, my output should be something like this. If it is 3, then it should go like this with one more. Same number of rows, same number of columns. If it is 4, then I should get 4 cross 4. If it is 5, I should get 5 cross 5. Understood the question, guys? And understood what nested for loop is?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead and use this. So the user will be giving this number 2. That is the size of the number, and the only input here is the size. That's it. You don't have any other input. You'll be taking the Cin, that is size, from the user, and you can call one has row and one has column instead of I and j. So call one as row and one as column, and go ahead with. or the C will be user defined input that I'll be terming as size. So go ahead with the logic with these inputs. So it's an integer which is size, and I'm telling the user to enter the input, and he is entering the input. And next what I need to do is, so take the first one has row equals whatever, row less than or equal to whatever. Then what increment you're supposed to do. Okay. So again, within this for loop, we'll be going with another for loop where I'll be taking this as column. So column is equal to whatever it is, and column less than or equal to what is the condition, and increment what you have to give. And later, if this for loops holds good, what is your C out? And for the first for loop, what is your C out? So I have given the skeleton almost. You just need to fill the inside stuffs and tell me what is the answer. Be slow, just think, take your time. So these kind of questions and logics will be basically asked in your interview questions on your quiz or apti questions. When you're basically CSIS people, your apti will not be only numbers. So your apti will be what will be the output for the certain program, or what are the errors in the certain program, what is the logic you need to use in a certain program. So these will be your apti questions mainly when you're from CS and IS background.
I'm pasted in chat box.
Yes, let me check. You got the output?
Yes, ma'am.
Network is bad.
You didn't get the output. So I have taken it as a size, and let me take it as row is equal to 1 initially, and I want something where 3 cross 3, and what I'll be doing, first row. So the same thing with respect to the column, I'll be having 1.
I got output now.
You got the output? Okay. So, and I'll be having C out, which is very simple from my aspect, wherein I want hash to be printed. And this C out is not required, or you can also use end line. The NBL. I've left out commenting.
Slash n we have to use right now for first for loop.
Exactly. So why am I not getting it?
You have not used slash n ma'am for first for
Where?
loop.
So where should I use that slash n? So it's here. So my second for loop is ending over here, and I'm supposed to, I can use end n. So why am I getting 3 over here? Like the number what I gave is 5. But why am I getting 3? So my input is 5. What am I supposed to get? 5.
Ma'am, inside the for less than or equals to 3. For
Yes.
condition, you have given 3.
So what should be given there? It is size.
Size.
So these kind of error are known as logical error, wherein you don't have any syntax error, but you will be getting wrong out. So I got my output over there. Clear what is nested for loop and how to deal with the nested for loop?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts in anything? Just make a note of these programs, it will be helpful. So next, to find square of a number and to find the cube of a number. User defined inputs, both the cases. So it is not like a person enter a number 3 and I get the output has number 3. No. If a person enter a number 3, I should be getting the cube of 1, 2 and 3. So if he enters number 7, I should be getting the output till 7. Up to that number, I should be getting the cube roots and the square roots.
ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ.
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೇಕಾ? ಆಯ್ತಾ?
ಆಯ್ತು.
ಆಗಿದೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ಪೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ? ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ 2 ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, 2 ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ?
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, 2 ಆಯ್ತು.
ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಏನೋ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಂತೆ, ಸೊ ಅವರು ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್, ಪೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಅವರು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ರೆಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿರಿ, ನಾಳೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮಿಗೆ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್?
ನೋ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್ ಆಗೋಣ ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೆ. ನಾಳೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿ 3 o'clock. ಓಕೆ
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಓಕೆ.
ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ
ನೋ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಕೀಪ್ ಇಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಒಂದು ಶೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ ದ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಹರ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅವರು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ ಅಪ್ಪ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಾಯ್ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್
ಬಾಯ್
ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಓಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.